Next week, Illinois in Focus Daily will be on the ground at the Republican National Convention. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out. And of course, with the eye on the Democratic National Convention in August, we anticipate being on the ground there as well. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for daily updates from Illinois in Focus Daily with America's Talking Network. Continuing a conversation from the previous segment with State Representative John Cabello. Representative, you are a Trump delegate. So I want to get your take on what you expect to happen and how important this convention is heading into November, not just for the top of the ticket, but even down in the lower parts of the ticket, like state representative, for instance.
Important. I have been with Trump and the Trump folks since 2016, where I was the co-chair of the campaign here in the state of Illinois, delegate all 3 times that he's run. So I'm looking forward to a very positive message from the president when he accepts the nomination. I'm looking forward to who the VP is going to be. I mean, we can all speculate, but none of us know. We can try to make that educated guess, and then the former president may throw a curveball at you. But a positive message on how we are going to move this country forward for the future is what I'm looking for, hoping to hear, and I think that I will hear. It's always a great show when President Trump is up there speaking. So I think it's going to be a good time, especially right now with the Democrats being in complete chaos with whether President Biden is going to be their nominee now or if it's going to be somebody else. So I think it's going to be an interesting week because we're hearing that Biden will be out maybe possibly by Monday.
Representative, Illinois, obviously, Republicans are in the super minority. What, if any, impact do you think Trump being on the ballot will have for the prospects of Republicans gaining any ground in the state of Illinois?
Well, if you look at the numbers, and, we haven't seen a ton of numbers here in the state of Illinois yet, but numbers around the country in different places, especially Democratic areas, you're seeing more and more folks moving over to the Trump side of the vote, which would then help down the ballot. I think the Democrats have really misstepped here by going so far left that they've lost a lot of their longtime voting Democrats. So I think it's going to be a very interesting race to watch. Obviously, our state, we have different dynamics. We have different dynamics in towards the suburbs to down south. So Trump is definitely going to help people outside of the populated areas of Chicago and in towards your neck of the woods down by St. Louis. But it's going to be an interesting dynamic. You can't run campaigns the same way in Southern Illinois as you do in the suburbs. So, we're going to have to make sure and help all of our folks and make sure the messaging is correct for all of them.
Now, in Illinois, obviously, Republicans have the organization, and you've got the chairman, Don Tracy, having announced he's going to be stepping down. Do you intend to seek that position on an interim basis or on a permanent basis? Can you address some of the speculation out there?
Sure. There's no more speculation. I turned in my application yesterday by the 5 p.m. deadline. I am looking at only an interim spot to get us through the convention and through the election. As talking to many of the board members for the state central committee folks, a lot of folks think this is a rush process, but it is. And the reason why it's a rush process is because we have to have a chairman in place for the convention because there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be signed once the president accepts the nomination. You got to do a bunch of paperwork. But being from 2015 to 2016, I was the chair of HRO, House Republican Organizations, that oversaw every single House race in the state. So, I know how to manage. I know how to make sure that we keep the train on the tracks and moving in the right direction, while the state central committee then has the time to slow this process down, find the right person. Because we need the right person to lead us into the future. We're going to try to build a foundation to make sure that future is starting to be built. And then we'll hand over the keys and say, here you go. We hope we left the ship in a better place for you and help that next person who's going to stay for quite some time.
Do you have any thoughts on who that next person should be after your possible interim leadership?
That is not my decision. That is the decision of the state central committee folks. So, again, I just looking at trying to help manage from the time that this next chair or interim chair is taking over until they have the time to do that search to make sure and get the right person. I mean, I don't know who it is, and it's not my decision. I'm not a state central committeeman.
And then, Representative, if you could, I know you and I have talked about this before, but even in the live chat this morning, people raising the vote that you took about non-citizens given a pathway to become police officers. You and I have talked about this in the past, and people can find that article at thecentersquare.com. But I guess just talk about that, because after that vote, well, was that 2 years ago? I can't even remember when that was.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
You did file another measure kind of impacting this particular issue, but that hasn't advanced. Talk about that a bit.
Yeah, so the bill does not allow any illegals or non-citizens to be police officers. What we did is we codified federal law. Federal law, there's an ATF law that states that no non-citizen or illegal can possess a weapon, which means a law enforcement officer, you have a weapon, you're possessing it. You can't do it until federal law changes. Federal law isn't going to change. I don't see this coming up in my lifetime. So what I think we did is a very good thing by codifying that federal law into the bill. And even the bill sponsor said, well, now this bill is strictly symbolic. So as far as I know, there is no illegal or non-citizen that's a police officer in the state of Illinois today. We have some pretty liberal cities. I'm sure we would have had some if that's what could really happen.
Representative John Cabello, greatly appreciate you taking the time. We will see you next week on the ground in Milwaukee. So let's connect there, and we'll have more conversations, all right?
Look forward to it. Thanks so much.
All right. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Thanks again to State Representative John Cabello for sticking around for 2 segments. So be sure if you missed the other one, go check that out. It is Illinois in Focus Daily here with the Center Square and America's Talking Network. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you here tomorrow live with America's Talking Network.